Lifestyle Pirates with Big J and Adriano.
Welcome to Lifestyle Pirates. Phillip Ray Host, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Strong Media Group owner and creative designer for EHP Labs.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I got that right? Awesome.
That'll do.
All right, let's kick off. What have you been up to this morning, mate?
This morning, I literally just woke up, crack of dawn, beat the sun up, hit the gym, got a good session in, hang out with my wife. Haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm running on caffeine. Which is good. And after that, Kate, drive over here to see you guys and hang out for a bit.
Yeah, nice.
Very much appreciated. I've got to ask. I was talking your LinkedIn, your Instagram this morning.
Yes.
There's a few pictures of you in a singlet, and there's something that I've never seen on my body before. So I want to know what filter that you use to like get that six pack. What's the filter?
That's cool. Just get in shape and take lots of photos, and then blow out. And use those old photos.
So they're all stock.
Of course.
Yeah, nice.
Of course.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, right. I'll try and do that.
So, personal trainer. You've been a personal trainer and a graphic designer.
Unfortunately,
are you bringing those two worlds together?
Sorry to jump in there. I'm actually not a personal trainer.
Oh, no?
However, a lot of people, for some reason, have assumed I am, and it makes sense because I do a lot of fitness. And
I'm fairly certain 8 years ago you trained me.
I was running a boot camp, and I invited you down. So, but not a personal trainer, but definitely love the health and fitness lifestyle.
Yeah.
And encouraging people to live a similar lifestyle, and graphic designer / creative manager.
Yeah. So how did you get to EHP Labs now?
Well, it's a long story. So I'll start as far back as I can. So originally, I actually went to high school with the CEO, founder.
Yep.
He was, I think, a year below me. His sister was in my sister's year, went to the same school, same friends. So I knew him from high school, played basketball together.
Yep.
I'm 5'6", so obviously that career for me never took off. And after high school, he kind of reached out and said, I'm starting a supplement company. I need a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And he basically asked me to come on board. Now, originally I came on board, I was in fantastic shape back then. I actually came on board as a sponsored athlete, one of the first sponsored athletes, and a graphic designer. So this was back in, I think, 2012, 13. Hung around for a couple of years, left to do my own thing, worked at other places, agencies, other nutrition companies, etc. Came back in 2015, 2016 again, this time just as a graphic designer. Spent a few years there, left again. I'm like a boomerang there, keep coming back. Worked at a few different places again within the health and fitness industry, and then just recently came back as creative manager, so looking after the creative team.
Nice. So have you always been into fitness? How did it all begin? Like you seem to be a guy that's always been in shape.
No, I was not always in shape. However, fitness for me, how it began from the very beginning was, if I could take it all the way back, so my father had passed away when I was 5 from a heart attack. So obviously when you're young, a lot of these kind of things, unbeknownst at the time, are actually conditioning you for certain, mental states or, whatever. So that kind of affected me in that I always had subconsciously in my mind, like, this is going to happen to me. I'm going to have a heart attack one day. Like when
was he out of shape?
He was. So he's typical. Like my dad, has a German background, but born and raised in Australia. Typical Aussie guy. Loved, hang out with the boys, have a beer every day.
Yeah.
A bit of a belly, and that's the type of lifestyle. Enjoyed his meat pies, bangers and mash, all that stuff. And he wasn't healthy, unfortunately, and passed away at the age of 55.
Wow, that's young.
Yeah, it is. So these days, 50 is young, man. Like when you see people out there in 50s and they're in great shape, like you can really, you stay healthy at that age. So, unfortunately, he passed away from a heart attack. And like I said, it obviously conditioned me because I'd always thought, this is going to happen to me one day. This is going to happen to me. Fast forward in my, I think, 19, 20, around there, finished high school. I used to airbrush murals on cars back then because it was cool.
Oh, no way.
Right? So I used to airbrush them in the auto cell and all that stuff.
Sex spec.
Yeah. Sex spec. That was
that was you?
That was my demographic, right?
Nice.
So I used to airbrush murals on cars. So my life after high school was basically working at Macca's, airbrushing cars in my backyard, right, to make extra money while I was studying at TAFE or uni, I think TAFE at the time, graphic design. So I would eat Macca's all the time. I was a smoker, like You know, what I consider a smoker is obviously someone that goes and buys their own cigarettes, smokes by themselves.
Yeah.
So for me, I was a smoker, eating Maccas all day, painting cars, breathing in fumes. You know, breakfast for me was, a cup of coffee and 2 cigarettes, right?
Yeah. Champion.
So extremely unhealthy. If I had I'll find a photo so you guys can post it up.
Yeah, nice.
Big belly, skinny arms, sitting down, like sanding down a car or something, and just, unhealthy, not looking after myself, not caring about my health.
Big pot belly.
Big pot belly, partying on the weekends,
Yeah,
recreational drugs. And then, all quite and dandy. And then I started having heart palpitations or flutters. I don't know what you call it. I started getting like chest flutters. Every now and again. It wasn't painful, just kind of like, I feel something kind of here, right? Ignored it for a while, and every now and again I'd get them. One day I was walking down the street and I got it, and it was painful.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that hurt. And I actually doubled over on the floor. Someone had walked past and was like, you're right. And I was like, wow, like this is not good. Something doesn't feel right. Went to the doctors and let him know, like, this is what's happened. This is what's been happening, but it hasn't really affected me. Like, I should be fine, right? Did some blood tests and stuff like that. Basically said, look, your triglycerides are through the roof. You're really unhealthy for your age. And obviously your body's starting to, show you that.
Yeah, react to it.
That's right. So he just said in a nutshell, you need to start looking after yourself and getting healthy.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the okay, this is the switch. Like I can't Dad died from a heart attack. I'm going down the same path really quick, and I'm 20. Yeah. So I said, I need to start getting healthy. I knew nothing about health and fitness. Yeah. Nothing. Absolutely zero information. To me, I just kind of figured out, let's do this. Let's start running around the block every night for an hour. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, for an hour, right? And let's do that every night, and let's eat what I thought at the time was healthy. So I was like, let's go get some fat-free yogurt. Let's eat a lot of chicken salad rolls and fruit, right? Had no idea about supplements or anything back then.
Yeah.
Started doing this, and because I figured, well, if I run around the block for 1 hour every night, that's 7 hours a week. That's almost like doing a marathon every week. It's 7 hours. Surely that must be better than what I'm doing now. So that's how it started. And then from then it was just like bit by bit it grew into, you know what, well, I'm doing this. I might as well sign up to the gym. Yeah. Right? I might as well start buying some fitness mags like in Men's Health and stuff like that. And it slowly kind of grew bit by bit and snowballed. And at the very peak, it was like at some point I was full into bodybuilding, would go watch bodybuilding shows, and it got quite hardcore. Yeah. And it got down to that kind of thing. And then it stayed up there for a while, and then it just dropped down to what's sustainable. What can I do for the rest of my life? Because you can't be into bodybuilding and all this stuff. And then I never competed. Yeah. And I never went down the path of taking testosterone, injecting stuff like that into my body. But it obviously was always on my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're hanging out with guys that are doing that, and everyone's competing. You get caught up in, I want to look insane. Don't worry about the future. I want to look mad now. So it peaked there, and it slowly since then has come down to, okay, what's more important to me now is sustainability. What can I do long-term that's good for you, that I can do day in, day out, that isn't at some extreme end of the spectrum? So
going back to your running around the laps, running around the block, what was the goal that you had in mind then?
Just to be healthy, because what I was doing at the time, well, this has got to be better than what I'm sitting on my ass smoking all day. Yeah. Right.
So you just figured doing something was better than doing nothing.
Yeah. So that was like the very, very grassroots fitness journey for me.
Yeah. And then when you joined the gym, was that just, again, the next step of, okay, I think I should be doing this? And again, it's something that I haven't been doing before. Therefore, the byproduct is I will get better. I will get fitter, more healthy.
Exactly. So the mindset was, I was running. Oh, let's buy some fitness mags. I'll learn something. And I remember seeing a picture of a dude with abs. Well, I'm not really there yet. I don't have a belly anymore, but how do I get abs? Maybe I should start doing weights.
I might need to borrow that magazine.
Yeah, I should have kept it, actually. It would be a great magazine.
So is there a safe way to take, I know you mentioned you were talking about people, you were around other people that were taking steroids and stuff like that. Is there a safe way to take those drugs? Or enhancers, whatever you call them?
It's like saying, I think there is, this is just an opinion. I think there's a safe way of look, Panadol, it's available freely over the counter. If you've got a headache, you take a Panadol or two, and the headache goes away, you reap the benefits, and there's no long-term effects of anything of that. Yeah. But if you take the whole packet, you're not going to wake up the next day. Yeah. So there's context that needs to be taken into account. So you really need to look at your own situation and weigh up the pros and cons, and then, it's a calculated risk. It's a calculated risk. So, sorry, what was your question originally?
Well, is there a safe way to take it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
I think
Do you think it should be like monitored and actually,
100%.
yeah, rather than
100%.
just being something that's so illegal and
There's a difference between a 17-year-old smashing himself with gear because he wants to have some godlike physique because all he can think about is getting laid. He's not even thinking about what the benefit, what the risks are going to be in the next few years. There's a difference between that and a gentleman that's in his 50s, mature, knows what he's doing, is old enough to make decisions for himself and can see the benefits of some type of, like, for example, testosterone replacement therapy where his doctor's monitoring him and he's doing it the right way. He's not buying illegally off the street. He's getting it proper pharmaceutical grade, proper stuff and using it to enhance his quality of life. Because a lot of people, as soon as you say testosterone, the dirty word steroids gets thrown in there and performance enhancing and cheating. But what about the guy that's using it like a Panadol correctly to reap the benefits, and it's actually improving his quality of life, extending his quality of life, as opposed to having all the downsides of low testosterone at that age, right? So there's many, risks of having low testosterone that not many people seem to be talking about. So to answer your question, I definitely think there's a proper way of playing around with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Because I've known you for quite some time. It's something I've always wanted to ask you about the aesthetic era.
Yes.
How did that all come about?
Wow.
It was pretty crazy.
That for me would definitely be like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll era of my life. It's obviously over now.
Yeah.
I look back on that part with fond memories. But obviously I'm not into that stuff anymore. So how that came about was I was going through a rough, let's say I came out the crappy end of a relationship. Got my heart broken to a million pieces, which I think is one of the greatest learning curves in life. And came out and I hadn't been training properly because all I cared about was this one girl and I'm going to go see her, don't worry about the gym, don't worry about, I'm going to go eat dinner with her. Like, anyway, came out the crappy end, was quite heartbroken for a while, and then pretty much made a decision saying, you know what, man, I'm not going to sit here being all depressed. Like, I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to get back into the shape I used to be, but better. And I just threw myself back into that fitness lifestyle, kind of, with the goal of one day she's going to see me again. I'm going to look absolutely insane. And that actually happened. Man, it was it was crazy that it actually happened one day. And I said, I'm going to look insane. I'm going to look super, super aesthetic. Like, I'm going to look ripped, muscular. And that was the goal. So, by that point, I think it was 2009-ish, social media, having social media influencers was, very much in its infant stage.
Yeah,
it wasn't well-known people, but people were building followings, whether they knew it or not.
Yeah.
And I connected on Facebook with Aziz, also known as Ziz, and he's a brother. So I was actually dating a girl at the time, obviously trying to get over this past relationship, dating a girl, and she was at my place after the beach. I was 7% body fat.
Yeah.
Felt great, looked great, living the mad lifestyle with, dating girls. I don't want to say anything too much because I'm obviously married now.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to go pick up something off a friend, right? Can you drop me off or can you take me there? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we were driving there and she was like, I'm going to Chess Bra's house, his name was, or his internet handle is Chess Bra. Yeah. And it was Ziz's brother. I was like, oh, yeah, I know these guys. Like, I've chatted a few times online with them, but I've never actually met him. And then I went over there and, she got whatever she needed to get and I just started chatting to him.
Did you walk in without a shirt on?
100%.
Yeah. Nice.
Actually, you know what? That might have been the situation. Probably it was summer. I was probably wearing a singlet or something. But that's how I met. That's how I met them. Yeah. And me and Az grew very close very quickly.
Yeah.
And at that time, obviously being a little bit heartbroken, I was kind of looking for something to belong to.
Yeah.
So this came along and, this is perfect. A bunch of dudes that are in fantastic shape, partying, girls. Like, I want to be a part of this. And it just it's weird how it's almost like the universe, gives you things that you deserve sometimes or put things in front of you that you need to go through. So I believe that was the reason why.
Bit of serendipity.
Yeah, 100%. I believe in that.
I think it had a real big impact on the sort of fitness industry in this country as well.
Yeah.
It was like when it first came about, the whole aesthetics thing, like everyone knew about it. You know what I mean? It kind of really got people into bodybuilding and everything else like that.
I agree.
It was like pioneers.
So when you say aesthetics, are we talking training for a comp, or we're just saying training to look the part?
Training for raves. No.
Training for raves, literally.
So not training for competition, just training to look good.
It was training, honestly, it was training to look good, to go to a music festival, to take. It sounds fruity as, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, this has pioneered some type of movement.
Yeah,
that
it
is
really
insane.
has.
It really
did.
has, and it's
really
nuts.
did.
Like I'm 37 now. I look back and I go, man, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? It is like. Anyway, so it was, man. To be honest, it was training to look good at a music festival or a rave where you would take your shirt off. Competing, nah. What for? I don't want a plastic trophy. I'm trying to go to Avicii on the weekends and take some pills. You know what I mean? And wear like tiny shorts to show off my quad development.
Yeah, nice.
It's crazy.
To show my quad development.
100%. It was peacocking at its finest.
Yeah, and people were admiring you.
Yeah, people were just like, well, this guy looks
That
crazy.
term came from that, didn't it?
Yeah, so it came from this was also born out of the bodybuilding forums. Yeah. So this whole aesthetic movement was really a subculture of bodybuilding,
Right. Okay.
and very heavily like produced out of the forums, the bodybuilding forums. So there was lots of lingo, like Myron is a word that was taken from admiring.
Yeah.
So if you like a guy's physique as another guy, you would say, man, I'm Myron.
Yeah.
Which means I'm admiring this guy's physique, like not in a homosexual way, but this guy's got an amazing physique. I'd love to attain something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
It is wow.
Well, but this is quite new for me. I've only been here 10 years. So
Sure.
and when we moved here in 2010, we started to go to the Stereosonics and the festivals and stuff because that's how Adrian and I met. We love our music.
Yeah.
And that was quite weird. We didn't have that in the UK. Or actually, I wasn't probably in that festival zone in the UK.
Yeah.
So it was quite interesting to see that culture. So I was aware of it, but probably not as well. I was a bit like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys here with no tops on and
Yeah.
very small shorts and very small, bum bags.
You should have said hi to me.
But immaculate trainers.
Yeah, yeah.
But so the peacocking bit's quite interesting because it was like, I'm on display and loving life.
If you look back at it from a mature perspective and kind of like analyze what's going on, it starts making sense.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So
Yeah, okay.
Peacocking
And so
is one.
is that still now? Is that culture still around now? Because obviously you can't.
There's no festivals.
There's no festivals, is there? So,
I think the culture definitely is alive and strong.
Yeah.
It's definitely like these. It's funny because these dudes that are teenagers that would message me and whatnot on Instagram saying, "Oh my gosh, were you friends with Ziz? Oh, dude, like asking me advice for a certain advice on things," and it's crazy because it's definitely still alive and well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
and maybe for people that don't know who this character is, who is Ziz?
So he's basically a gentleman that's he's passed away now. He passed away at the age of 22,
Right.
and he basically was almost like somehow ascended to be this like the leader of this generation.
He was quite a large guy though.
Yeah, he was a big dude. He was like 6'2", 6'3".
Right.
Had a large presence. There was something about his presence, extremely charismatic, like extremely. And he was the type of person that, obviously because of the way he carried on, a typical Aussie larrikin kind of having fun, have a joke, trolling people and stuff like that. And he was charismatic, and a lot of people would kind of see him from the outset and go, "Oh my gosh, who's this fucking douchebag carrying on like a fruitcake?" And I'd be like, no, trust me, meet him, and he's great. And then they'd meet him and be like, this guy's a legend. When can we hang out with him next?
Yeah.
One of those people.
Total symmetry, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's come to the physique. Like just something about him was extreme. Like it wasn't bodybuilder-esque, overpoweringly overdeveloped. It was like Michelangelo's David, with better traps.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair play.
So it was just there was pictures of him that got taken that just went viral because it was like, this is what a man should look like. This is perfect aesthetics. And
Were you Myron?
100%.
Did I say that right?
Nice.
Yeah, good. Well done.
Nailed it.
100%. I would look at his photos and go, this guy looks sick. I want to look like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't imagine how many other guys would look at it and go, that looks sick. I want to look like that.
So, am I right in thinking you weren't motivated and inspired and aspired to be like an Arnold Schwarzenegger? It was just it was just your network of friends.
Yeah, definitely. But there was still inspiration from Arnold, and he was a big motivating force for a lot of us.
Yeah.
But as far as he took the route of I want to be the best of the best bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys that train for aesthetics, a lot of them I find they're not interested in that. That's not really the goal.
No.
You will get guys that cross over and they start competing, but more so they do it just as a lifestyle.
What do you think of the shapes these days of like Phil Heath and stuff like that? Like they look like a walnut.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
I was going to say a dropped 6-pack of chicken nuggets, but look, it's not
full on.
It's
now.
full on. It's like I've never been interested in that look. I've never wanted to look like that. But you have to understand, like, don't get me wrong, I agree with you. It's bodybuilding gone in a wrong direction, and it's not for most people inspirational to look at. I'm sure you'll get those guys that are bodybuilders. Oh, I look like Phil Heath. I just want to get massive no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think we have to understand how it's gotten taken down that route, and really, it's the judging, and it's the audience that wants to go and see freaky bodybuilders. No one's paying $100 for an Olympia ticket to see a regular dude. And he looks good. I'm going home. They want to see the freak show. They want to see the freak show. So therefore, if it gets bums on seats, then the judging will adjust accordingly. This is what the judges want to see now. And then the guys that are competing will start pushing the boundaries. And that's what happens.
I just look at that body and there's like so much muscle mass. How does your heart sort of power that body? Like
I couldn't imagine. Like I'm not a doctor,
Yeah.
so I can't really, but I can just assume that it's not good for you.
no, it can't be.
Like how can you say that?
How much food do you have to eat to keep that as well?
That's the thing. So there's all the food. The lifestyle is obviously obviously very, very, everything's revolving around, I need to achieve this. There's the eating, there's the sleeping, there's the training, there's supplementation, you got coaches. Obviously the drug regime is, I couldn't imagine what that would be like. And then it's like the guys always want to get that extra edge. So now they're experimenting with stuff, dosages, who knows?
So was steroids always allowed in Mr. Olympia?
As far as allowed, it's almost like that's the taboo thing to answer you. It's as far as I know, it's taboo, so it's not really allowed, but they're not drug testing. So therefore it's an open kind of field to do it. There was a period, I think, back in the 90s, I could be wrong, where they did try to introduce drug testing and they did have it for a while, but obviously that's going to affect the competitors so they don't look as impressive. And then the ticket sales or whatever would suffer.
Yeah.
Let's go back to lifestyle. You mentioned it, and I'm quite keen to get your thoughts because you've gone on the journey from smashing macas to really get into the gym, to not competing, but obviously increasing from what I can take out your discipline. How important is diet, what you put into your body when you are training for a comp? And then maybe give some comparisons around actually that sustainable piece that you spoke about. So what would you be eating, or what do people eat when they're training for a comp? And then what's your lifestyle like now with your sustainable training and things?
So as far as competition, from what I've learned, obviously I haven't competed myself, but I do know a lot of people. Obviously there's the end goal, and with diet, there's always the different strategies to get to that end goal. So there's different methods of approaching the end goal to look amazing on stage. So there's this very strict structured diet. You can only eat this, you can only eat that. And in certain portions, and then there's guys that are counting the calories, so they're a little bit more lax on what they're eating. But it's what's more important is the calorie at the end of the day. Does it hit a certain number that I'm supposed to hit?
Right.
But both look at the very start of the prep would be quite lax, and progressively would get more strict. The calories would become tighter. Obviously, training is structured. As well as cardio. They'll start implementing cardio and stuff like that. So it's very structured, and the end goal is to peak and have a certain look on a day. Whatever happens after that, whatever. But you can't keep that peak condition forever.
Yeah.
No one's walking around 5% body fat all the time.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. But unfortunately, that's not, the body doesn't work like that. You're going super aggressive, and it's one end of the extreme spectrum.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a natural body competition or whatever, you're going extreme, and then you come off that and you slowly try and get back to normality.
And when you say calories, so what's the average? They say the average man can basically have between like 1,500 and 2,000 calories a day.
That's too low.
That's too low, but it depends. Like context, remember, is important. So 90 kilo man is different to a 70 kilo man.
Yeah.
But depending on your weight, your body composition, there is a certain number that you should aim to have to maintain. If your goal is to maintain, then maintain.
So what would these guys be eating, or these if guys and girls, what would they be eating if they're training? Because they train probably 2-3 times a day.
Yeah, that's extreme, but at least once a day you'd have a session. Yeah. As far as what type of food, It depends on the method that they're utilizing, like their strategy. So it might be super strict where it's like all you're going to eat is what's on this piece of paper.
Right.
Unflavored chicken breast, vegetables, broccoli. This is very traditional, this style. Right. So your sweet potatoes, chicken and broccoli, tuna, protein shakes, egg whites. That's very 1990s way
Where's
of
the taste?
Exactly. And how you can't do that forever. You'd go mentally nuts.
Yeah.
So that's a very traditional way. And obviously now, we're learning all the time. There's different approaches that are not so strict. They're a little bit more lax. So maybe most of what you're eating is that, but then you're allowed to have certain things depending on. But there's a million ways to skin a cat, and there isn't one way to get stage ready.
Yeah.
So,
and then on that sustainable piece,
yep.
What's your routine?
My routine is my personal style, or my routine would be I'm a calorie counter.
Yeah.
I like to. There's a style of lifestyle called flexible dieting, where you basically eat. Technically, you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits within a certain macronutrient like expenditure for the day.
Right.
And in saying that, there are still certain guidelines you should be following. You should be getting most of your food from, nutritionally dense, wholesome food. And then you've got that small percentage where maybe you can have a cheeseburger and some fries, as long as all that still equates to a certain number.
Right.
Yeah.
So getting back to what you were saying earlier on as well, you're having the low fat yogurt, all that kind of stuff. There's now obviously a lot of tests around that's kind of full of sugar.
That's right.
What do you do for brekkie now? Is it just egg whites, all that stuff?
No.
Because I think education on food, it's so needed.
100%.
And the labeling of food, the packaging, there's a lot more that I think we can be doing.
100%.
To make sure people are aware of what they put in their mouth.
I think it's a case of what you said, education, educating yourself. And the thing is, it's so hard to educate yourself because there's so much conflicting information out there. Do I eat the whole egg because apparently the egg yolk is going to kill me because it's full of fat? Or do I eat it because it's good for me and that's where all the nutrients are in the yolk? Like, far out. How do you, I can imagine for some people. So it's really hard to navigate the fitness and health world, to learn about what's.
When you're starting off though.
100%.
Yeah. And to your point, everyone's slightly different as well.
Yeah. Everyone's slightly different in that their needs will be different because someone might be 90 kilos with a higher body fat than someone else who's a bit leaner and they're lighter. So the composition is different. But at the end of the day, I think that the human body, everyone's still got a metabolism. Everybody still needs certain vitamins and macronutrients throughout the day. It's just really figuring out what your body needs towards your goal. If it's to trim up, it's to gain a bit of weight, or is it to maintain? I think what people need to do is find what their goal is, find the best way to get there, and find a sustainable way of doing it. Because there's no point jumping on some crazy diet. Great, you've lost weight in 8 weeks, but what happens after that?
Yeah.
Then you have a massive blowout because you've hit your goal.
And you're back. That's right, and you're back to square one. So, to me, sustainability is key.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And I think for other people, I would encourage them to find sustainability.
Yeah.
And for me, I enjoy what I have for breakfast. Honestly, I love my sausage and egg McMuffin. And people would say, "Oh, that's so bad for you." Well, where's the context? What if I told someone I had a sausage and egg McMuffin for breakfast? Oh my gosh, you're so unhealthy. But what if I ate salads for the rest of the day? Does that make me unhealthy?
The proof's in the pudding with you, I suppose.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, just take your shirt off. That wasn't a request, by the way. No.
Right. But I mean, it's the context. So a sausage and egg, chocolate's not going to kill you. A piece of chocolate's not going to kill you or make you blow out. But if you eat the whole block every day, all right, look at the track record there.
All right, so enough cooking tips, John. I wanted to go back, right? So about your aesthetics era, you're a very different person now.
Yeah.
What was the journey to that sort of change for you? I know you're big on motivation and living your best life. So tell us a bit about that.
So during that era, it was always in the back of my mind, this, I can't do this forever. I'm not going to go partying every weekend, popping Molly, getting fucked up, hooking up with random chicks. It had to come to an end at some point because I always had the end goal of I want to be married with kids and family, and that's my life. You know what I mean? So that was always at the back of my mind. So when he passed away, it just the switch flipped. Okay, this is it. This is the end of this era because he was the glue for all of us. He's brought it all together, and now it's my time to kind of fade away from that. Pass the torch on to the younger dudes that want to live that life. Fantastic. But now I'm it kind of just it faded for me. So
You went quiet for a while as well.
yeah. I was like everybody processes death different.
Yeah.
And for me, I just was, I just buried myself in something else, work, a relationship at the time. Unsure of, I was unsure of what I was going to do. What do I do now after this? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of figuring stuff out. And I did go quiet for a few years because I was unsure of what type of person do I want to be? What type of man? Because I can't be this fruitcake walking around in shorts for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like,
Looked good in them though.
was
Is that picture of
fantastic.
you on Bondi Beach?
100%.
Yeah.
Best photo ever. And I slowly just started figuring out like what type of man do I want to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a slow process. I'm not there now. Like,
Yeah, I was going to ask if you figured it out yet.
I have a good idea, but like, obviously it changes, it
Yeah.
pivots. You got to be
It
open.
does. It's got to be dynamic.
It's got to be dynamic. Like life is not a linear journey.
No.
And I think that's the biggest mistake that a lot of people make. They think that just because they've dropped in the dirt for a few seconds, oh, that's it. Oh man, like it's never going to just keep going up. It's got to drop every now and again. And so I'm still figuring out. But my ideal man would be someone that has great values, great beliefs, and family driven.
Yeah.
Typical tangible stuff like I'm reliable, gets the job done. That type of person, you know what I mean? Honest.
Yeah. So you mentioned you're married.
Yes.
She trains as well.
She does.
Okay. How did you meet her?
We actually had mutual friends. We had multiple different circles that we knew, but I actually never met her. So I had her on Facebook because I thought she was pretty hot.
Yeah. As you do.
And
A friend request.
yes, slid up in the DMs.
Yeah.
And said, listen, I've got this boot camp on Saturday. Pretty much how I picked you up.
Yeah. Nice.
I said, come down to this boot camp because she was, obviously I'd seen her photos and she was a fit chick. And I said, come down to this boot camp. And she didn't, she said she was going to come. She didn't rock up.
Oh,
And then
games already.
I know, I'm not going
Games.
to mix signals drive me nuts. So I said, I hit her up again. I was like, you didn't come. She goes, sorry, I just, I don't know what it's about. And I said, why don't we go get a cup of coffee and I'll tell you what it's about. And that was my kind of move. And
Smooth.
Thank you. Thank you. And she, we met up. She was competing at the time, so she was preparing for a comp. So she, we had a long black coffee with no sugar, one sweetener, and nothing else.
Yeah.
So, and we hit it off, man, because she's into the same lifestyle I'm into, and that's how it started.
She's your swole mate.
She is, man. She is.
Swole, mate.
You're waiting to use that term, weren't you?
He's actually just ticked it off. He wrote it down.
Swole mate.
Nice.
Any other you want to get at? It sounds like to me that the gym and training for you is your constant. Like you mentioned, obviously you were kind of going on that journey and up and down and peaking and troughing and stuff after life events. But from what I can make out, that the training has been your routine and a constant in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
So what else has training given you?
Well, training a lot because it's really something that I learned. It's discipline. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you that health and longevity is so important because not just for yourself, but you've got to be around for other people. And it's like a vent to go in. If you got issues, you had a shitty day, go to the gym. Had an argument with your missus, go to the gym. Like whatever, go to the gym. And it's a great way to really get rid of all that. It's always been there. And
It's almost like a best friend, no?
it is. It sounds like crazy, but it is like the best friend that's always there for you. And you can find solitude there. You put your headphones on, you switch off, listen to something, music, motivational audio or something like that. And you come out, okay, I feel clear now.
Yeah.
I'm not pissed off anymore. I'm going to go back and say sorry to the missus or I'm going to have a good day today. It's a great way to start the day and a great way to end it. You know what I mean?
So you train twice a day?
No. I train once a day in the morning.
Yep.
I like to get up before the sun, hit the gym, and it gives me clarity for the day because I can tick it off. I've already done something amazing today. Let's continue that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we try and do the same. We go boxing in the morning for that reason.
Nice.
Because then if you get invited out, if you got to work late, you don't resent working late because you go, I've already done that.
I've ticked it off.
And also the endorphins, you kind of get that high as you're going into work and you just feel mega productive in the morning.
100%. It's the endorphins, man. And boxing's another great way. And something I want to share with our listeners as well is that you find what you like doing. You don't have to hit the weights.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy doing boxing, going for a run, yoga, whatever it is that centers you for the morning and the alignment for the day, and you have to enjoy it. Don't do it if you hate it, because it's not gonna be sustainable if you hate it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no rule, like you don't have to walk around like with muscles and stuff.
Yeah. I think that's a really good message, actually, because I think there's a lot of people that they're maybe not happy with the way they look, male and female, and going to the gym because of the aesthetics. And let's face it, we a lot of people, in Australia just rocking activewear all the time. Some people can make it work. Some people, like me, I wouldn't be rocking around in spandex anytime soon. You know what I mean? They're like Lego in a black plastic bag. But that can be quite intimidating for someone that's maybe not as confident about the way they look. And then how do you start? Where do you start? They might not have the means, for a PT. So sometimes a kind of commercial element as well.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I was thinking about this on the way here. Can you imagine the amount of people that are scared to walk into the gym?
Yeah.
Because it's a scary place and I've never been here and I don't look the part, man. And it breaks my heart, because I take it for granted. I walk into like this is my home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can imagine some people that are just not happy with the way they look, and they don't go to the gym because of that. Because they're intimidated and they're scared. You're in the car park and you go, fuck, I'm just gonna go home. Like, that breaks my heart, because I'm sure there's so many people out there that are like that. And I think obviously as in the fitness community, we obviously should be encouraging those people. We should make them feel welcome inside the gym. Letting them know this is a great place for you to come and hang out, even if it's just a hi, how you going, smile, whatever. Make them feel. Don't give them those weird looks and stuff. Like, it happens, right? Yeah. And like, we all judge. So like, I'm guilty too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, and you need to make a conscious effort not to judge. And it's hard to think about how they're feeling. Like, you see a guy out of shape walking in the gym and you go, look at this guy. When you really should be saying, look at this guy, he's probably having a hard time. Give him a fucking smile, man. Say hi. How you going, man? Phil, nice to meet you. I'll see you tomorrow. Like. And that would change his whole outlook on going to the gym.
100%.
They might change their day. They might be having a rubbish day. They might be the start of their journey getting over a bereavement.
100%.
And it costs nothing, man. It costs nothing to be kind.
That is ultimately, if I can send one message in this podcast, it's that the way you make other people feel is like the greatest currency that you have. And it doesn't cost anything. Yeah. And it takes 2 seconds, and it makes you feel better too. Yeah. Right? If you can make them feel that way, that might be the small fire that makes them come in tomorrow. Yeah. And come in the next day, and now their whole thing's changed. Yeah. And I think it's definitely something we need to, encourage people to do.
So when did you start getting into? So you are quite a motivational guy. Yep. I see that you're sort of pushing that a lot more as you're getting older. Is it wisdom? Like,
I think it's pretty much what I just covered.
Yeah.
If you can help someone for free like that, just by using your experience and stuff that you're passionate about and pushing them to be better versions of themselves, they're going to walk away from you feeling better that they ran into you. Yeah. So even if it's like, for example, when you rang me the other day, I did obviously everything I can to make you feel like, don't worry, man, we got this. It's going to be a cool chat. Yeah. It's going to be great. And my goal was hopefully you got off the phone thinking, man, I'm glad we got Phil in here because this is going to be good. Like, but I could have just been like, what time is it, man? 10? Oh, fuck. All right, we'll see, man. I'll let you know, And I don't know about this, can we make it next week? Because it's not like, you would be like, oh, fuck, maybe we shouldn't have got Phil in here. Yeah. Shit cunt. He's not going to go. You know what I mean? But
no, you definitely made me feel good.
Thank you. Yeah. So for me, I guess one of the things that I've realized, like, I'm not there yet in what my gift is to give to people, but I'm confident that it's somewhere along the lines of making them feel good, encouraging them to do better, to be better versions of themselves. So because of that, I've started gravitating towards motivational speaking. I don't consider myself a motivational speaker now, but it's definitely something I'm like, I could do that one day, and I'd like to help people in that way. So how did I come about that? Oh, man, that's a good question. You know what? I did Herbalife once upon a time. Yeah. Pretty sure I sold you stuff.
Yeah, you did. Pyramid scheme.
So I did it once. I don't do it now. But if you guys are free on Saturday, I've got this seminar that I want you to come down. So when I was doing that, that's when I discovered like personal development. Yeah. Audio, listening to guys like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, all the legends. Yeah, yeah. And it, that stuff, either you look at it and go, man, what is this motivational crap? Or you listen to it and go, and it hits you. And that hit me. I was like, it helped me. And then I just kind of gravitated towards that. And it's slowly gone down that path. So, I've gone to multiple events like Tony Robbins events. And to me, they're so valuable and I love them. They're awesome. So I'd love to get into something around that realm.
Yeah.
I'm still piecing together how that's supposed to work, but
I find with those kind of things as well, it depends on where your headspace is at that time. So using Tony Robbins as an example, you could probably go to the same event 3 different times at 3 different headspaces, and you'd get something different from it every time.
yeah, I agree. Or you could be one of those people that's in the headspace where they're like, I don't need this shit. What is this crap? Totally, because there's lots of people that look and go, look at this motivational fruitcakery. You're like, it's not for me. You're paying him to go talk to you, whatever. But you're right. And there are people that have gone to the same event multiple times and learned something different. I've considered going to the same event like again, and because you learn and you change every year. And you could come in with a different headspace and really it can open something up for you totally, whether it's relationship, business, and from there it can just explode.
Yeah. I quite like those motivational things. I just don't like it when they scream at you.
Yeah.
It's like some of that shit. It's like, but dude, like fucking back off, man.
And not first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I was like, you turn them on like Monday motivation. Now you. It's like, fuck off.
There's a time and place, and there's so.
I think what's really good about that is there's just a lot of content around about that stuff, and I think some of the things we're learning here doing Lifestyle Pirates is everybody's on a bit of a journey. Everyone's at a different stage. Everybody's fighting their battles. They're trying to make something work. And it's great just to actually, I get a lot of personal comfort from just speaking to people like yourself and other people that I would never ordinarily meet in my day-to-day. And you go, actually, well, we're quite similar in a weird, wonderful way. And actually, we've both been through that. And you get a bit of comfort from that. And, hopefully relationships will form. And, you can then go, well, how did you do that, Phil? And how did you overcome that? And then you learn from that. And I think that's 100%. That's the good thing.
And it feels good to just know that you're right. We're all on a journey, and it feels good to know that you're not the only one on this journey that's been kicked in the balls by life.
Yeah.
Because me, you, everyone, there's no such thing as living your life from birth to death, and you don't get kicked in the balls by life. And I think sometimes comparison is a thief of joy. And it's so easy to go, man, that guy's doing all right, man. He's got a nice car and stuff, and I'm sitting here driving my Mrs. Echo, and you beat yourself up and you feel shit about it and you get anxiety because you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. But then you talk to the guy and he's not doing too well either, and he's got his life problems, and you're like, man, we're fucking the same thing. And it feels good. It makes you feel like life isn't linear. Yeah. We all get kicked in the balls. And I think that is one of the things that really, I touched on anxiety just then, and I feel like one of the things that I think really creates a lot of anxieties in people is wanting to control every aspect of life and knowing every outcome. That is where I personally get a lot of anxiety. Trying to make sure that, okay, from this day until I die, I want everything to be perfect. I want to control every outcome, no matter what. And we really need to just look at the history. Like from when I was born until now, I've been kicked in the balls multiple times in my life. What makes me think for the rest of my life it's not going to happen? It's going to happen.
100%.
So the split second you accept the fact that, look, at one point in the future, maybe not today, but maybe next week, I'm going to get kicked in the balls by life. It's not whether it's going to happen or not, it's how do I react to it? And you accept the fact that you're going to get kicked in the balls by life. Just accepting that life is going to happen, just accepting it relieves some of that anxiety.
Yeah. That was probably one of my biggest takeouts from the Kevin Hart documentary. I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix. I think it's called Don't Fuck This Up.
That's great.
And he basically talks about as soon as you realize that perfection does not exist, you can have a much happier life. He's like, everyone's going to make a mistake. Everyone's going to screw up at some point. You learn. That's how we learn. So he's like, as soon as things aren't perfect and you accept that, it's one of my biggest takeouts from that doco.
I struggle with worrying about things that are completely out of my control.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I think everybody does. And I think but again, it's a mindset thing, right? And it's easy. I don't want mindset to be one of these new cliche terms, like resilience and leadership and empathy, right?
Buzzwords.
Yeah. Mindset is something that you have to practice over and over again. We had a friend of mine, Jacqueline Morrison, on a few weeks ago, and she was talking about, practicing daily gratitude. It's not something you just switch on.
Yeah.
You practice it. You've got to practice these in a ritual. In the same way going to the gym, you make it part of your daily ritual, your habitual behavior, that kind of stuff.
You need that daily reminder.
Exactly.
Because you forget. That's like basic, so basic.
Yeah.
We forget.
But again, it comes that impatience thing. They want it now. I want a six-pack now. I don't want to put in 12 weeks of training, that kind of stuff. I want to be champion now. I want to be rich now.
Yeah.
They want the linear journey rather than the.
That's right. They want the linear. And what do you think has brought that about in today's day? And today's
Everything's so,
everything's right
you
now.
can touch it and you can get it right away. You can get anything straight away.
Yeah,
I think that's got something to do with social media bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think the instant gratification piece is there. Like again, to your point, you order something and it's there. Sometimes the same day, the next day, if you don't want it.
Uber Eats.
Everything's very disposable now.
Yeah.
On that, and I also think to what you were saying earlier on about the social media stuff. People would look at. I'm looking at your Instagram this morning. I was like, wow, I knew that you were coming on, but someone might go, well, actually, I don't know his story, and how dare he look like that? But people do.
Yeah.
People don't know the discipline, the routine, the what you've put into it. They just assume that you've got it.
Yeah.
And I guess traditionally it happened a lot with very wealthy people. People just assume, oh, he or she, they're a billionaire. How dare they have that much money? They don't deserve it. Well, hang on a minute. Do you know what they've done? Do you know they started off with a debt 10 grand on their credit card and it's taken them 30 years? Or do you know what I mean? Like
totally. No, 100%. And Kevin Hart is a great example because it's easy to look at this guy, he's making all this money and stuff. And I'm pretty sure he's had his hardships.
Yeah.
In that same documentary, I'm almost positive that he walked through his old neighborhood.
Yeah.
And showed it was a shithole.
Yeah.
Right. So that guy's come from his own dirt.
Yeah, it's self-made. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And there's a lot of people out there that have similar stories and from shit, and they're doing all right for themselves now, and good on them.
But we don't hear those stories, and I think that's actually what Adriana and I are trying to do with Lifestyle Pirates is just bring a little bit of context into it and go, well, actually, people haven't been on that linear journey. They've had a couple of down months, or they've had this go on, but look at where they've gone to.
Yeah, so that's right. That's right.
But I think that's what it is. I think because we're so visual now, everything's on social media and there's no context. And you see it in the media as well, headlines, clickbait headlines, you see if you watch the news, there's 3 or 4 clips that are put together to give the story they want you to see.
Yeah.
There's no context.
That's right. Off. Yeah.
So of course you're just going to read that and you think, well, I'm educated because I read the news, but actually, you've just seen 4 different interviews put together for one headline.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think that helps.
No.
So using that logic, I'm going to take a little bit of something that you said. You said that after a breakup, you sort of got into gym and you got into training and everything, and it was a really bad breakup. Yep. So your whole motivation for this lifestyle that you lived for so long is spite?
Fuck that bitch, man. No. Obviously, at that point, that was the driving force. But that changes.
Yeah, it gave you realization. I suppose.
Yeah, she's still a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But at that time, look, you need to find something that's going to,
helps you burn that fire.
That pushes you. Yeah. And whatever that is, find it. Right now, it's not that anymore.
Yeah.
But at the time, you definitely, like you set a goal, and then find a reason. Like, what's your why? Yeah. Why are you doing this? Why? Yeah. Why? Find a why that's so powerful that, man, at 5 a.m., I don't need an alarm because this is why I'm getting up. You know what I mean? And find that why. At that point, then that was the why.
Yeah.
I want to look amazing, so she will see me one day and just like, oh my God, I feel bad like that. This has happened. And but it changed since then. It's gone. There's been different whys for me.
Yeah.
Right now, my why is to be one of those husbands that's healthy, fit, that looks good, obviously.
Yeah.
Not extreme, but is a great role model for the kids.
Your holiday photos must look amazing.
Oh, I'm going to. I was supposed to go to Maldives this year. Unfortunately, with the whole COVID thing, it's been thrown in the bin. So
on that, we spoke about routine. We spoke about getting your kind of natural buzz in the morning through going to the gym. How have you gone through being in lockdown? Because obviously gyms were shut.
Yeah, so I very rarely take time off from hitting the gym.
Is this how you look after time off?
Yeah.
That is appalling.
It's all covered up, mind you. So, but I used it. I made a conscious decision to use this as time off.
Right.
Don't hit the gym. Don't stress about what you're eating. Focus on other things. And I did it strategically because I'm actually going to start a kind of like a 12-week YouTube series following me getting back into better shape.
Right, okay.
So, I mean, some people, I'm seeing it thrown around on social media like, use this time to better yourself and get in better shape than you were and don't find excuses to lay off. And I get that, and that's fine. But I haven't had like time off from the gym in how many years.
But again, all in context.
All in context.
All in context.
That's right. So, I purposely took the time off to just relax.
So this 12-week YouTube course, is that touching back to what you were saying earlier on about making fitness more accessible, education, bettering people's education, understanding?
Yeah.
You don't have to have a gym membership. You can just look at is it a YouTube channel? What is it?
I've got a YouTube channel, and I haven't finalized the structure of this series, but it's basically going to be educating people what I know, and dispelling some myths.
Yeah.
Getting in shape doesn't have to be torture.
Yeah.
And the importance is sustainability. Don't do something if you can't continually do it for the rest of your life, right? So don't eat chicken and broccoli for 8 weeks straight if you can't do that for the rest of your life. Who's going to do that, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's sustainability. Don't take steroids to get in shape because you can't do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do something that you can do for the rest of your life. Whatever that is, let's find that and let's start building this lifestyle that's sustainable.
Yeah. So when do you think you're going to start that up?
I've already started recording content for it now.
Nice. You don't need any models?
I'll probably need 12 months.
You can get him his coffee in the morning. How about that?
I've recorded some content for the first episode, so it'll be me going. I went and got a blood test from my doctor just to make sure everything's good, and to see where the baseline's at with triglycerides and stuff like that. And then I'm going to do another blood test at the end to say, look how my health markers have improved because I'm getting in shape or getting healthier. I also went to physio because I had some shoulder pain, so I'm kind of like want to push there to make sure you look after yourself mechanically as well. And I went and got a DEXA scan in the city.
What is that?
A DEXA scan is basically it's like a body scan, and they look at all your like body fat, bone composition.
Well, I'm not ready for that scan.
So but it's great to have a baseline, right? So my headspace wasn't to go into this scan and I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hadn't trained for like 3 months or whatever it was. So just to get a baseline, they lay you on a bed, machine scans over you for 2 minutes, and the lady would kind of walk through the results and let you know. That's why I filmed a bit of that to show some context. So set a baseline. Set a baseline.
So you're not only using bro science?
I'm not really into bro science. No.
What's bro science?
Anecdotal science?
Yeah,
Right, okay.
pretty much. It's anecdotal stuff. So.
How important is it? You mentioned your wife also trains. How important is that for a partner to be on the same? Have the gym as an interest as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, and I'll be the first to admit it, I'm extremely lucky to have her, because finding someone that understands your lifestyle, man, that's like a big. If she didn't understand my lifestyle, she doesn't have to do it, but she has to understand it, right?
Yeah.
That's a big red flag because we're going to have issues. Because I've dated girls in the past. What are you doing after work? You want to come over for dinner? Okay, cool. I'm going to hit the gym and then I'll come over. And then she'd come back and go, well, hit the gym. You hit the gym yesterday.
Yeah. Do you not want to see me?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. But I mean, you know what I mean? So it's imperative that she understands my lifestyle. So the fact that my wife lives my lifestyle, I'm the luckiest man on earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So very important.
And that's also cool from a support circle as well, because if you're having a down day and you're like, oh, I'm struggling to kind of get out, then
she'll push me.
She'll push you, which is great.
Or if there's days when I'm like, oh, let's just go get don't worry about what we're eating today. Let's go crazy.
Yeah.
No, come on, because we want to keep it tight. We're going on that trip. We want to look good. She'll keep me in line.
Yeah.
And
so do you have couple goals? So you've obviously got your personal goals with fitness. Do you have like couple goals, team host goals?
What do you mean? As in fitness wise?
Yeah.
No, obviously she doesn't look like me, but she's got her own goals. But we're kind of like, it's funny. It's one of those things where we're parallel.
Yeah.
We don't need each other to be happy because we're happy on our own, but we choose to be together and share our happiness.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does it sound corny?
No,
does that make sense?
Sounds good.
And I believe that's how it should be.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be looking for happiness in someone else to make you complete. As much as we all see these Hollywood movies and, oh, you complete me. Like, I don't believe in that. You should be complete before you meet that other person.
Yeah.
If you're not complete and you've got those insecurities in yourself, you start throwing them on them and then you just get tension. So to answer your question, we don't really have, okay, me and you are both going to look insane on this day.
If you let me down in the Maldives, I'm going to
That's right.
you.
I'm not taking photos with you at all. Go stand over there. Obviously, we both know we're going on a trip, so our goals just naturally align.
Yeah.
Let's get in good shape just for photos and Yeah, so
Love it. Are you guys train together?
no, not at all.
No?
Not at all. Like it's
Different gyms?
almost. I'm kidding. Same gym, different times most of the time because she's a nurse, so she has like different shifts and stuff. But no, we don't train together. We kind of did when we first started dating, and it was cute and stuff for Instagram. But yeah, it doesn't work because we. Sorry, she can't spot me obviously.
Yeah.
But we train different. She goes in the gym and does like 27 different booty exercises.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I've got a great ass already. So,
There you go.
so no, we don't train together. We train at the same time. We're in the gym this morning together.
Yeah.
And we just kind of give each other the bro fist bump and the nod and see you later, and that's it.
Just don't mix up each other's mixtapes.
Yeah.
What do you listen to actually when because you say you have the headphones on?
Yeah.
What do you listen to?
You're gonna laugh.
What juices you up?
But obviously it changes. Like I go through different phases, but right now, Rocky V soundtrack.
Yes.
It's the best, man. Like just
What
like,
about No Retreat, No Surrender?
that doesn't. I like it, but it doesn't get me in gym mood. Like right now, it's there's no easy way out.
And what? Yeah, you just when you're pumping the legs.
Yeah, 100%. Whatever you want, shoulders, chest. But that as well as a bit of always got like motivational stuff on like rotation. So
Yeah.
'cause that's great for cardio. Really clears my mind.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of right now, a bit of Rocky V and Tony Robbins, as weird as a combination as that sounds.
So with your YouTube stuff that you're starting up again and your motivational stuff, if you could leave the 9 to 5, would you, and just do that?
Yeah. Yes. That would be great. I mean, I love my 9 to 5. I like as a creative, like this is what I love doing as well.
Yeah.
And I'm in a position where I can mentor and kind of like manage a team of creatives.
Yeah.
And I love doing that as well. If I wasn't doing this, I actually applied to be a TAFE teacher to teach people graphic design or whatever creative courses,
Yeah.
because I would have loved like helping them kind of find their creativity and explore that. So to answer your question, yes, ideally, if someone said to me tomorrow, come on, we're going to do some tours and we're going to talk in front of big crowds and we're going to pay you X amount and you don't have to, yeah, of course. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, nice one.
I hope my boss doesn't hear this. Jesus.
Well, I get the sense that
Oh, jeez.
you're in quite the fortunate position where you love what you do work-wise, you love what you do in your hobby, and you can bring the two together in some way.
Yeah, very lucky. But in saying that, it wasn't an easy journey to get here. I've been unemployed many times. I've been freelancing. Freelancing is what you say when you haven't got a job and you're trying to find work. I've been kicked in the balls plenty of times. Right now, I'm very fortunate because my love for creativity and my love for health and fitness is combined because I work for a company that helps people get in shape and have amazing health.
Is there a gym at work?
We don't have a gym at work. They were building one on a because it's a multi-level building. There was a level where they were going to build a gym. However, they've changed their mind. But we do have a kind of like a corporate gym kind of connection. So down the street there's King's Beats Fitness, which is it was a nice gym. I haven't trained there yet, but it's a very nice gym. So definitely have that benefit.
What's your thoughts on personal trainers?
What's my thought on personal trainers? In what respect?
So you sound like, so for me, I for my cardio I box, but to go to the gym, if I'm going to do weights, I kind of need a personal trainer to push me.
Okay,
you sound like you don't need that.
Right now, no. However, a lot of people, I would recommend, look, if you're starting your fitness journey, you've made the decision, okay, you know what, I'm going to change some things. I would definitely recommend a personal trainer. How to find a good one, obviously recommendations. And don't settle on the first one that you come across, because if you do a couple of sessions and for some reason that person doesn't click for you, feel free to find someone else. But I definitely recommend if you're on your journey, because look, if you want to get good at anything, the quickest, most efficient way to get there is to find someone that's done it before and get them to teach you.
Yeah.
Right? So find a personal trainer that's experienced, check their credentials, recommendations, and definitely get them to teach you the ropes, because I just went into the gym by myself and got the bros to teach me how to do stuff, and it probably wasn't the most efficient way. I eventually got there. But excuse me. Yeah, definitely find a personal trainer. I would recommend someone get a person. Whether they're all great, I can't comment there.
Well, you're always going to get good and bad. It's the same in any industry, isn't it?
So being open to kind of trying different personal trainers, find one that really resonates with you.
Yeah.
Possibly even going on the same journey as you. Like I used to, whether you're overweight, if they've got that transformation story, it's powerful. You know what I mean?
Do you prefer to train with someone?
No, I prefer to train alone.
Yeah.
Especially first thing in the morning. There's not many people that'll put their hand up to train at 5 a.m. And it's for me, it's my kind of me time, headphones on. If sometimes I'll put the headphones on with nothing on, so no one will talk to me. Really.
So it's almost a meditation for you in some ways, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Like a meditation. Like this is my time to reflect on yesterday, think about how great today is going to be, better my health, think about things I need to get done, clear my mind, and get a great pump. You know what I mean?
So what's your kind of goals that you're working to at the moment? Is it all around this YouTube channel and making the fitness world more accessible for people?
Goals, all around goals. I just started this role, so I definitely want to build up. Like this is my career, is what I do as a profession. So I love doing what I do, but it's all about, I've got all these different aspects of my life. How do I connect them in a way that, okay, now I know what my purpose is because I still don't know what that is. So there's the motivational side. I love helping people, motivating people. I'm a creative, been one for years. It's my career. I've got I feel like social media connects them at some point because social media is a great way of inspiring people. So how can I connect these now? So I'm still trying to figure out what that is. Playing around with YouTube because I feel like video is the most powerful way to connect with people as opposed to, other means like your Twitters is like one line or whatever, or your Instagram is just like a still image or a short video. Whereas YouTube, you can hold the camera up and you can look directly at someone and you deliver your message that way. It's the most powerful. It's going to touch them the most. So ultimately my goal now is still to try and figure out how does this all piece together so that I can find my groove and that's it. I'm going to kill it. This is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And video as well, video and photos, given we spoke about the aesthetics earlier on, it's more powerful than writing down, do this, do this, do this. The visual side of things, if you do this, you will look like this.
Yeah.
You may not be healthy, but it's depending on how that goes.
That's right.
And that's probably, can you be fit? So can you have your six pack and all that kind of stuff and not be healthy?
Of course. If you're a smoker, well, healthy is it's subjective. Like, where does that sit? Is there a range? Because
I'm with you because so many times personal trainers go, "What do you want? I want to be healthy. I want to be fit." Well, it's such a
it's a vague.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a six pack and be unhealthy because what if you got cancer and because you've been smoking your whole life? And there's dudes out there with people with extremely fast metabolisms. They have a six pack. You're extremely malnourished and you're on cocaine and crack, but you know what I mean? Like six pack shouldn't define whether you are healthy or not.
Thank God.
Yeah.
That's actually what I was looking for. You played right into my hands there. Yeah, well, thank you very much for that.
But I mean, you guys are keep taking stabs at yourself, and I know you're having fun, but you guys, this guy looks great. You look fine. Like there's people out there with serious obesity problems. You guys aren't them. They've got serious obesity problems. They've got really bad self-image problems, mental issues, no lack of confidence, wouldn't step foot in a gym because it makes them shit themselves. Like these are real problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you guys are like, you want six pack. You guys are like a hand reach from that. You're not very far. Like,
tell you the truth, I'm quite intimidated now to go into a gym. Like when I was in full shape, I loved it. It was like you said before, it was like your home. But now because I've let myself go a little bit, well, not a little bit, a fair bit. I just don't want to go back to a gym now because I'm going to see those same faces that are still going to be there because I go in the morning and there's not a lot of people that go in the morning. So the same people are going to be there and I'm going to walk into that room. I just dread them turning around thinking, look at this fat fuck.
Okay, well, the gym hasn't changed since the last time you were there, right? What's changed? Just
me.
Your thoughts on yourself and your giving power to people that have an opinion of you that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So firstly, fuck other people and what they think. As much as cliche as that sounds, we need to hear that every now and again because it's so easy to, like I said, compare yourself and don't worry about what other people think. Worry about yourself. And if you know what you got to do remove the emotion that's involved and find the why. Why do you want to get back in shape, Adrian?
For myself, I don't know. I just feel like I'm doing so much with my life at the moment, right? Very busy guy. But there's one thing that I always struggle with or two things. So diet and staying healthy, right? Or fitness. I want to get that really back on track. But yeah, that's my why.
Is that powerful enough to change?
Doesn't sound like it, does it?
So maybe you need to find maybe you need to find a more powerful why. And once you find that, then it'll start pushing you more to kind of rock up with it. You've been to the gym before and you were fine. It was your home. And all of a sudden it's an alien place.
Yeah.
But it's never changed. So every problem you have is just inside your head.
Yeah.
Right. So
you could say that about anything, really.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I'll definitely find the right reason and then set a goal and don't give a fuck what other people think. Like, go back to the treadmill, Jenny.
And how important, actually, and not just talking about you, Squire, but those little goals. Again, so many people want to go from zero to hero, so I can imagine, well, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym this week. I'm going to go every single day. And I can imagine most people won't go every single day because it takes a long time to form a habit. I think it's like a month, isn't it, to form a habit?
Something like that, yeah.
So how important is it to set bite-sized goals to improve over time then to get sustainable rather than just trying to be unrealistic? I mean, you have that SMART thing, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time frame. How important is it to actually, well, if I'm going to start from nothing, I'm going to go twice this week?
I think that's where a lot of people fall. Is because they think that all of a sudden it's binary, like it's got to be on or off. And because of that, they set unrealistic expectations of themselves. For example, and that isn't sustainable. That's where they fall off. If you're used to waking up at 10 a.m. every day for the last 5 years, and all of a sudden you say, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m., you might do it once or twice, but sooner or later you fall back into thing because the expectation and the goal is way too big in comparison to what you used to do. The change of environment that you're doing to yourself is way too drastic. For example, if I took a fish that had lived its whole life in a bowl of water and took that goldfish out and put it in another bowl that was like 10 degrees colder, after 2 minutes it would die from shock. But if I slowly took it out and dropped the temperature 1 degree at a time and left it there for a week and slowly it would survive in that 10-degree cold water. But it takes time to get there, and it's a small, bite-sized progression to get there, and now it can live there its whole life. People need to be aware of this and not do drastic changes. So if you get up at 10 every day, let's try and get up at 9:30, 9:45. If I'm used to eating a quarter pounder with large quarter pounder meal every day for the last 5 years, don't try and eat a salad. Fuck, you're going to eat it for 2 days and then you'll go back to quarter pounders. How about you downsize the quarter pounder to a small meal or even a regular Coke, a Diet Coke instead of regular Coke. Small changes over time and give yourself lots of time to make that change. That's where the formula to success is, because there is no such thing as overnight success. Like people, you're going to make $1 million overnight? No, but it's more realistic to make progressively more money over time. So it's very important, going back to your question, that people make small, bite-sized, achievable goals and then do that for a long time before you and progress it. Don't try and, I want to wake up tomorrow and run 6K when you've never done that in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dreaming.
And I tell people all this time, the quarter pounder example is like I had a mate that, big Islander boy, every day at lunch, large quarter pounder meal, double quarter pounder meal, large. And then he tried to switch it to a little Chobani yogurt and some tuna. I go, what the fuck? No way. You're not going to do that. You've been doing it for how many years? Like the most logical way was, downsize it and then continue eating your quarter pounder with cheese, but make it a regular meal instead of a large for 6 months. You know what I mean? And if you fall off the wagon, don't beat yourself up, but get back on and progressively change that quarter pounder to now it's a small cheeseburger meal and a protein shake. You know what I mean?
And has he seen benefits?
I haven't been in touch with him for a while, but this was a while ago. But as an example, that's what we should be doing. You know what I mean?
So what's your I follow The Rock on Instagram and I love seeing his cheat day pictures where it's just like massive, like a table full of sushi and sometimes a pizza and stuff. That's his cheat day. What's your cheat day?
Oh, man, I love like Korean fried chicken.
Oh, the best.
But so hot for the next 3 days, my bum hole's like on fire. I love it. Like there's something about like having this hot food that while eating it, firstly, I know for the next day, like I'm going to lose 2 kilos in body mass because I'll be shitting it out. But there's something about the endorphin rush I get when like the back of my head would water. I don't know how that happens. The back of my head gets all sweaty and watery.
It's going straight out.
Yeah, it is. It's burning a hole through my fucking head. Korean fried chicken, and you know that right now is my thing.
Yeah,
I look forward to eating that.
Mate, I recommend. I did Spice Temple last night, and I had their Kung Pao chili chicken.
I need to try it.
And it had, mate, my tongue went numb, my lips were on fire. And I actually started crying at the table. And I was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Just it's just chilies. And
I'm loving it.
And it was the Szechuan pepper. It was the combination of the chilies, the Szechuan pepper, and then they'd probably 3 or 4 different kind of red chilies as well. It was amazing, but my God, I was on fire. Yeah. So if you're getting whipped up by that Korean stuff, I think I'd recommend that
definitely.
as well.
Put me, give me the restaurant later. I'll definitely want to visit there.
Yeah.
That's definitely. And another thing I want to note is that for the most part, I am quite conscious of how many calories I'm eating. So I use an app, and if I don't use the app, I just remember how much things would usually be. So I've gotten to that point where to me a cheat day would be, I'm not even worried about how much calories I'm eating today. Today's just going to be or whatever it is.
What's the app you use?
MyFitnessPal.
You still use that?
I've been using it since 2011.
Really?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So basically, it's an app where you can punch in what you're eating for the day, how much of it you're eating, and it will give you the calorie kind of breakdown of that food.
Okay.
So obviously to do that, you'd have to weigh your food. So kitchen scales is important. And also because of that, it encourages you to prepare your meals. Because if you go eat at a restaurant, you kind of don't know what they've put in there.
Yeah.
So it makes you kind of avoid restaurants, but not in a bad way. It's keeping you on track. There are things that you can eat because, for example, like most fast food takeaway menus are in there. So your KFC, you find out how much calories is in a Zinger burger, cheeseburger. So you can eat it if you was, within the day, as long as it comes within your daily expenditure for the day.
Yeah.
And the great thing about that is you don't feel bad about eating a cheeseburger. If the rest of your day you've eaten correctly to make sure you're under that expenditure for the day, the mental guilt is no longer there.
Yeah, right.
Does that make sense? Which I think is a big thing because people that are not aware of this method would eat a cheeseburger and then what would they do for the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Like a diet starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they go nuts. Right?
Yeah, that's true actually.
Right? So I think that's important. I think for me, that's a massive mental positive is that you don't feel guilty about eating because food isn't bad. It's not the devil, right? And we should stop demonizing food. We really should because it's all about educating yourself and knowing what you're putting into your body. And of course, like balance. People talk about balance all the time. How do you find balance? It's another subjective thing. Like how much cheeseburgers is too much cheeseburgers. You know what I mean? How do you find that? How do you find balance? You find balance by looking at the measurables, the things that you can measure and track. You know what I mean? And taking control of those things. And this is how I do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
Right. You're a fountain of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. I love it. I love it. I think we're going to wrap it up there, mate.
Yeah.
I want to go to the gym.
Let's go. I'll
Absolutely.
go again.
We're going to do arms and chest.
I haven't eaten all day. I'm going to go get some mac.
Let's get another coffee before you go.
Chest, yeah.
Phil, thank you for coming in. It's been an absolute pleasure. How do people get in contact with you? I think you are going to be a fountain of knowledge, not only on the gym side of things, but I reckon that headspace, that motivational stuff. How do people get in contact?
Firstly, thank you very much for having me on today. It was a pleasure. It was a fantastic hangout with you guys. If people want to get in contact with me, I am more active on Instagram than any other platform right now. My Instagram is Phillip Raymond Host. And my stories is what I'm mostly active on. I find really, really fulfilling to jump on Instagram stories and talk to people and share stuff. Could be some funny shit throughout the day, or it could be just a really great message that I want to, to help people have a better day. And ideally, I'd like to jump on YouTube and get more active as well. And my YouTube, I think, is Phillip Raymond Host as well.
Yeah, awesome. Yes. We'll include that in the bio. But one of my takeouts today has been actually that training can be a constant. The gym can be a constant no matter what's going on in the world. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Take care.